Hello, my name is Yuri Shevchenko. I'm a postdoc in the iScience group at the University of Constance. In my presentation, I'm going to talk about Samply, an application that we have developed for experience sampling studies. The goal of Samply is to help researchers to schedule and send mobile notifications to study participants. There is a number of research methods, such as experience sampling method, daily diary method, or ecological momentary assessment, that need to prompt participants to respond at some random times using their mobile phones. The problem has been that if you want to create a native mobile application, you have to program it in a language that operation system would understand. For Android, it had been Java. For Apple, it is Objective-C or Swift. And if you want to have your app on both devices, you basically had to program it twice. That's why there is a lot of applications that only work on one of the platforms. The second problem is that proprietary software often has some number of predefined possible response types that you can ask users. Researchers were bound to use these tools that was provided by the apps. Third, the cost of these apps can be extremely high. For example, if you might need to spend around $500 for 50 participants at one of the platforms. The solution that we developed consists of two parts. The first part of it is the website Samply, available in the web browser. This website is for researchers who can set up and monitor their studies. The website is working on Node.js Express server and uses cron to schedule and send notifications. The second part of the project is a native mobile application that can be downloaded from App Store or Google Play. To solve the problem of different languages on two platforms, we use the React Native framework. React Native is written in JavaScript, but can be rendered in the native code of each platform. On top of that, we use push notifications to deliver messages to participants. Samply is entirely free both for researchers and participants, and the code base of the website is open source and available on GitHub. The website for researchers is integrated with the mobile application for participants. You, as a researcher, provide the information about your study and communicate with the participant by sending notifications. The mobile application collects the data on interaction with notifications and make it available to you on the website. There is also an option to gather participants' preferences, such as the time window when participants want to be notified. Let's first look at the features of the website for researchers. You can set up various types of time schedules and randomize it for each participant. Then you can customize the message that you want to send to the participants together with the URL link of your web survey. This link will be opened on the smartphone of the participant when he or she taps on the notification. Samply will record the time events when the participants interact with your notifications, so you can calculate your response rate and response time. At the same time, the participants can remain anonymous. There is no need to record their mobile phone numbers or email addresses to be able to communicate with them. You can, of course, ask for this information in your web survey if you need it, but in principle it's not required for a study. If you start to use Samply as a researcher, at the first step you will register an account on the website. We ask you to provide a university email address so we can verify your account. Samply is intended to help researchers, so we don't support any commercial use of Samply such as for marketing or advertisement. As the next step, you create a new research study by giving it a name, description, and the consent form text. This information is displayed to the participants in the mobile app. You can specify the URL of the image file, and this image will be also displayed in the mobile application next to your study. If you work with a colleague with whom you want to share the access to the study, you can enter their email address or leave the field blank and do it later. Sharing a study allows you to collaborate on the project, have the shared access to the notification schedule and history of sent notifications. After adding a study, you will see the card of the new study, which shows the name and status of the study along with the two buttons to edit and delete the study. The toggle switch at the bottom of the card is gray. This means that your study is currently not publicly available in the mobile app Samply Research. When you are ready to launch your study, toggle the button to activate it. If you have invited your colleagues to share access to the study, the number of your colleagues will be indicated on the study card. The next step will be to schedule the notifications. In order to create an intuitive and clear way of schedule notifications, we conducted a usability study with experts in the usability and experience sampling research. As a result, we designed this form that will guide you through step by step in creating a notification schedule. First, you would decide on the content of the notification, the title, the message, and the web link to your web study. Note that Samply allows you to use a participant ID in the link. In this way, you can record on the side of the survey the information about the participant. Next, you will have to make a couple of decisions which will generate a notification schedule. It's like building blocks that you put together and you can tweak each part of it. You have choices to whom to send notifications and when to send. And it could be a specific time point or a time window. With respect to the date or the month, you can select a particular date or create a repeating notification. The last options allow you to customize when to start and when to stop sending notification. It can be again a specific time point or the time that can be selected with respect to each participant. So let's look at some examples how the schedule can look like. In a simple case, it's just a specific date and time, like sending notification on September 10th at 3 p.m. The time point can be randomized, like in the second example, where I just provide a time window between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. and the time is picked up randomly for each participant. The third example shows that I repeat my notification every weekday in September with a specific time window. Finally, the last example demonstrates that the schedule can be constructed with respect to each participant. In particular, with respect to the moment when a participant started the study. In this case, if participants join the study at different times, the dates will be different, but each participant will receive notifications for 2 weeks. When your study is ready, there are 2 ways to invite participants to join it. In all cases, participants must first install the mobile application Samply Research on their mobile phone. For Android users, the application is available in Google Play. For Apple users, the application is in App Store. And after the application is installed, you either provide a participant with a direct link to your study or ask a participant to find your study in the list of studies in the app. Samply records the timestamp for the events when the notification was sent and when it was opened by the participant. This information can be downloaded as a CSV file and can be used to calculate the response rate and response time. Let's now turn to the participant side and look at the features of the mobile application. The accounts of participants are password protected and connected to their email addresses, so they can recover their passwords. The login information is used only for authentication of participants and not available to a researcher. After logging in, participants can browse the list of public studies. They have access to the history of all notifications that were sent to them before. They can also set up their time preferences for receiving notifications. To use the app, a participant first downloads it from a respective iOS or Android store. Then the participant registers a new account. The purpose of registration is to hinder multiple participation and to keep a persistent account for the user. And the user can log in with the same credentials in the website as well. After logging in, participants have to proceed to the tab Studies inside the application. There they can use the search field to find your study. The name, author and the date of study creation will be displayed there in the list of studies. By selecting a study in the list, participants proceed to the study page. The study description is displayed here. By clicking on the button Join the study, participants will proceed to the consent form. And here a researcher can ask them to provide a participant ID before they join the study. After giving the consent and joining the study, the active study is displayed on the home screen of the app. At this point, participants can close the app. And later, when the notification arrives, it will be shown in the notification bar of the phone. When the participant taps on the notification, the link is opened in a mobile web browser. Sometimes it can happen that a notification is accidentally deleted by the user. In this case, participants can find it in the history inside the mobile app. By default, the history is not showing the notifications that were opened before, so participants can differentiate between old and new messages. The mobile app also allows users to express their time preferences when they want or do not want to be notified. And this information will be displayed to researchers in the list of participants on the website. We conducted several validation studies, and I'm not going here into the details about the content of the study, but would like to draw your attention to the response rate measures. In the first version of the app, when we used a different technology, we tested it together with students in their research projects, and the response rate was quite low, it was around 54%. Then we conducted a special study to investigate whether it was related to the type of device that participants used. Indeed, some of devices had general settings that could block notifications, so we developed a list of recommendations how to enable notifications for such cases. Also, at this time point, we did a major technological improvement which made the mobile app more stable and available for both Android and iOS users. And our recent validation study has shown that the response rate has improved and reached 74%. It turned out that the possibility to open notifications in the app was useful. More participants used this option and opened the web survey from the app than from the notification. To summarize, Samply is a flexible tool that can be combined with any web survey or web experiment where you want your participants repeatedly take part in. The website and the mobile app are connected with each other in a way that allows you to manage the study, to schedule notifications and control participation rate. And here, I'd like to thank you for your attention and invite you to try Samply and contribute to its development. We have plans to extend the mobile application to include mobile sensors data, and we will be glad to collaborate with other research groups.